The stage is set for the phase one of the elections for Chhattisgarh, and we are going to be showing you some of the salient features which are going to be describing these elections. And right before the elections, of course, the big gambling scam that has in fact rattled the current government of Chhattisgarh is also something that we will be discussing and we will be talking about. But before that, let's also take a look at some of the key constituencies, some of the people who in fact have been defining the elections for both the parties in Chhattisgarh and how they in fact panned out last time and what perhaps could be the projections a day before the phase one voting is set to take place in Chhattisgarh. So of course, the big battle that we are talking about here is of course going to be between Kedar Kashyap of the BJP and Chandan Kashyap of the Congress party. Remember, the Congress has been very, in fact, vehement when it comes to taking over Chhattisgarh once again, and they have gone on to say that all of this scam that that is being talked about and being spoken of is only to divert the attention of the voter. They have proven their work, they have proven their mettle, and they are likely to come back. And this is exactly what happened last time around. Of course, Chandan Kashyap was a winner, but if you look at the margin, it's not that high. He won by a very brisk margin of 2,647 votes in 2018. And of course, the BJP's Kedar Kashyap was the loser there. Is he going to gain on him this time around? We don't know. But it is definitely a contest which is worth talking about and a contest which is worth worrying for the Congress party, of course. And the other one is Chitrakoot. Chitrakoot, I beg your pardon. Vinayak Goyal of the BJP, in fact, is going to be taking on Deepak Baij of the INC in this particular contest. The last time around, it was of course Deepak Baij of the INC, the Indian National Congress, who won comfortably with a margin of 17,770, and Lachuram Kashyap of the BJP lost by that particular margin. Of course, Dr. Raman Singh, a prominent face of the Bharatiya Janata Party, is going to be contesting from Rajnandgaon. He's going to be going against Girish Devangan of the Indian National Congress. And what happened last time was, of course, the BJP's Dr. Raman Singh was the victor. And of course, the margin was not that paltry. It was 17,000 votes, which made him the winner. And he, of course, took over Karuna Shukla of the Indian National Congress in 2018. Another noteworthy competition is from Bastar. Lakheshwar Baghel is going to be taking on Maniram Kashyap of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So as you can see so far, what we've shown you, that the predominant contest does exist between only the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Congress Party. And of course, the Indian National Congress representative Lakheshwar Baghel won by a whopping 33,441 votes. And Subhav Kashyap, who's not contesting any more from this constituency, got around 40,907 votes. Like I said, the main competition remains between the Bharatiya Janata Party and the National Congress. Kanker, another important constituency in 2023. Asharam Netam of the BJP is going to be taking on Shankar Dhruv of the Congress Party. And Shishupal Shori was the winner from Indian National Congress with 69,000 votes, and Hira Markam of the BJP lost to the Congress Party with a whopping 20,000 of a margin, as you can see. Dantewada, another important region, in fact, defining one. A lot of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe concentration and density is to be found in this particular part of the state. Cheta Ramarami of the BJP was against Chavindra Mahindra of the Indian National Congress. And the first time we also have had the Aam Aadmi Party throwing in some of their confidence. But last time it was Bhima Mandavi of the Bharatiya Janata Party who defeated Devati Karma of the Indian National Congress. So there's a new player in the Aam Aadmi Party in Dantewada. Are they going to be the ones who are going to rock the boat for the Congress Party? We will find out when the results are announced later this month and of course towards the beginning of next month. Soyam Mukha of the BJP against Kawasi Lakhma of the Indian National Congress in another important constituency of Konta. What happened here last time was that Kawasi Lakhma won by around 7,000 votes, and he defeated Dhaninam Barse of the BJP. So far, in 2018, it was the Congress party that ruled the roost, and Bijapur, another constituency where the Indian National Congress has been very confident and has been winning for the past few elections. And that's exactly what happened last time as well in 2018. Vikram Mandavi of the Indian National Congress defeated Mahesh Gagra of the BJP by a whopping 21,000 votes. So there are constituencies where the vote margin is extremely high, and there are obviously some places and constituencies where there is a massive gulf between the contesting parties. The Indian National Congress and Mohan Markam representing it will be up against Lata Osandi of the BJP in Kondagaon. And this is another important constituency, remember. In fact, the Chief Minister was visiting this part of the state just a few weeks ago. And Mohan Markam of the Indian National Congress with 61,000 was the victor. And like I said, the margin was very paltry. It was less than 2,000 votes for the BJP. Are they going to be able to catch up this time? Are they in fact going to use Prime Minister Narendra Modi's aura and his name and his stature to, get to the top of this particular state? Well, that is something that only time will tell. Vijay Baghel, BJP MP, is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Mr. Baghel, appreciate you talking to us. How confident are you of winning the seat from the constituency? You are fighting the election against Bhupesh Baghel, who's a heavyweight.
101% हम आश्वस्त हैं कि वहाँ भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कमल खिलेगा और भारतीय जनता पार्टी जीतेगी। मैं तो एक प्रत्याशी हूँ, नाम का हूँ, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी वहाँ चुनाव जीत रही है, मुख्यमंत्री चुनाव हार रहे हैं। 101% हम आश्वस्त हैं।
सर, आप किन मुद्दों पर ये चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं और आपका कैंपेन किन मुद्दों को उजागर करने की फिराक में है?
छत्तीसगढ़ की जो दुर्गति हुई है ना, उसका सबसे बड़ा जिम्मेदार यहाँ के मुख्यमंत्री हैं, जो वहाँ के प्रत्याशी पाटन के मेरे खिलाफ हैं। भ्रष्टाचार के आखंड में डूबे हैं, शराबखोरी चरम सीमा में है, सट्टा जुआ चरम सीमा में है, अपराध का गढ़ बन चुका है, और तो और भोले भाले किसानों के साथ दादागिरी हुई है। ये जो मिट्टी और वो धूल के जो बोरी को भर के वर्मी कंपोस्ट के नाम से दादागिरी करके 300 रुपया प्रति बोरे के हिसाब से 3 बोरी प्रति क्विंटल के हिसाब से 900 रुपया लूटा गया किसानों से। ये दर्द और पीड़ा किसानों के मन में है। हमारे वृद्ध जन हैं, उनको 350 से 1000 देने की बात कही थी ये लोग, आज तक पता नहीं है। बेरोजगारों को भत्ता देने की बात कही। मैं 95 गांव घूम घूम कर पूछ डाला पाटन विधानसभा का, मात्र 4 गांव में मिले और टोटल मिला के 9 युवा कि हमको बेरोजगारी भत्ता मिल रहा है। तो ये सब बात है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी बेरोजगारी भत्ता की बात नहीं करती, रोजगार देने की बात करती है। और इस बार हम बहुत अच्छा घोषणा पत्र लाए हैं। सभी विभागों में हम भर्ती प्रक्रिया तत्काल शुरू करेंगे।
सर, कांग्रेस की अभी एक ही टर्म पूरी हुई है कि आपको पूरा भरोसा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी सत्ता में आएगी?
बीजेपी आएगी और 100% आएगी। आप ये पहले चरण का जो चुनाव है ना, 20 तारीख आज थमने वाला है उसका चुनाव प्रचार। हम पे जो वनांचल क्षेत्र में बस्तर और राजनांदगांव में चुनाव है 20 सीटों पर, उसमें भी हमको ज़्यादा सीट आ रही है, क्योंकि हमने आदिवासी भाइयों के लिए बहुत किया है। जो पूर्व में डॉक्टर रमन सिंह जी के समय चलने वाली सारी योजनाएं हम पुनर्लागित कर रहे हैं, बोनस हम बढ़ा रहे हैं, और तो और जो फड़मुंशी होते हैं उनके भी मानदेय राशि हमने बढ़ा दी है, ताकि वो लोग के जो जितनी मेहनत करते हैं उतनी राशि उनको मिल नहीं पाती थी, जिसके वो अधिकार रखते थे। समय सीमा हमने बढ़ाई है, जो खरीदी का समय था उसको हमने बढ़ाया है। तो ये सब बातें हमने की है, जिसका प्रतिशत ये चुनाव में 7 तारीख को होने वाले चुनाव में मिलेगा।
सर, कांग्रेस कहती है कि आप इन्फोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट, सीबीआई जो एजेंसियां हैं उनका गलत इस्तेमाल करते हैं, कांग्रेस और विपक्ष को टारगेट करते हैं। आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे इस पे?
देखिए, भ्रष्टाचारी लोग तो यही बोलेंगे, आकंठ तक भ्रष्टाचार में डूबे, अभी भी 508 करोड़ का पकड़ाया है। इसके लोग जेल में हैं, बेल क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है? शराब घोटाला, और ये लोग बोले कि ईडी भी ना ले। ईडी तो एक स्वतंत्र संस्था है जो कार्रवाई करती है भ्रष्टाचार का। जहां पे उनको शिकायत मिलेगी वहां जाके वो लोग दावा बोलेंगे, और वो पकड़ में आ रहे हैं। इनके पास तो कोई जवाब ही नहीं है। अगर इनके पास जवाब होता तो कोर्ट में क्यों फेल हो रहे हैं लोग, ये भी बता दो। तो ये अपनी गलती को छुपाने के लिए ये सब पतंगड़ बातें बना रहे हैं। देखिए
सर, नक्सलिज्म का छत्तीसगढ़ में क्या तोड़ है? अगर आपकी पार्टी आती है सत्ता में तो क्या नीति रहेगी नक्सलिज्म के खिलाफ?
हमारे समय आप याद कीजिए, नक्सल का मूवमेंट बहुत तक हम पीछे हटाए थे, जो आगे बढ़ते बढ़ते अभी बहुत आगे तक आ गए। और हमारा जो प्लानिंग रहता था, केंद्र सरकार से मिलके हम लोग जिस मूवमेंट को चला रहे थे उसमें सरकार फेल हुई है। और आने वाले समय में वही मूवमेंट फिर चलेगा। और लोग वहाँ के जो मूल निवासी हैं वो खुद चाहते हैं कि नक्सलवाद से वो भी परेशान है, उनको साथ लेके नक्सलवाद को खत्म करना होगा। और उसके लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार करेगी। हमारे
सर, कास्ट सेंसस को लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी क्यों आपत्ति जता रही है? अगर कांग्रेस उसको एक इलेक्शन का एक मुद्दा और या मुद्दे की तरह इस्तेमाल करना चाहती है तो?
देखिए, क्या है कि हम कहाँ विरोध कर रहे हैं, कभी विरोध नहीं किए हम। ये लोग हमारे ऊपर आरोप लगा रहे हैं, हमने कभी नहीं कहा। और अगर ये ईमानदारी की बात करें तो ये तो अभी क्या, तो पहले कहे थे और बीच में कराए भी थे, तो जनता के सामने आया क्यों नहीं? जनता के सामने उसको देना चाहिए ना। ये लोग तो करा चुके हैं, एक बार जातीय जनगणना करा चुके हैं, तो क्यों नहीं देते ये लोग? उसको धरातल पे लाना चाहिए ना, क्यों छिपा के रखे हैं? एक तरफ 27% वो भी वर्ग को आरक्षण देने की बात करते हैं, फिर हर वर्ग का बढ़ा दिए, और खुद ही अपने लोगों को भेज के कोर्ट में केस लगवा दिए। और जो लोग कोर्ट में केस लगाए हैं उनको आप पुरस्कृत कर दिए, एक शुक्ला एक खांडे, उनको अच्छे पद में बिठा दिए। ये बनावटी बातें जनता अच्छी तरह समझती है। ठीक है क्या?
सर, आखिरी सवाल, मुख्यमंत्री बनने के लिए बीजेपी की तरफ से कौन है उम्मीदवार?
एक भ्रष्टाचारी, धोखेबाज, फरेब करने वाला मुख्यमंत्री, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी चुनाव लड़ रही है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के हमारे कर्मठ कार्यकर्ता भाई बहन पूरा दिलो जान से, बिना डर के, बिना भय के लगे, बिना लोभ लालच के लगे हैं। पाटन की जनता उससे त्रस्त है और उसको घर बिठाना चाहती है, उसको मुंह को खानी पड़ेगी। ये स्वरूप पाटन में दिख रहा है, एक भ्रष्टाचार।
सर, हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. In fact, I'm going to go to the big screen and give you some more details about the state of Chhattisgarh and what is at stake here and what kind of a demographic and population parameters we're looking at that will be voting in the first phase tomorrow. Of course, the capital is Raipur. Total assembly seats are at 90, and Chhattisgarh, of course, has been a very popular state of late. The male population is close to 12,832,000, and the female population is 12,712,000. The voting population is, of course, somewhere close to 18 million, and the 2018 voter turnout was a very promising and a very good 75.3%. The state GDP is around 5 lakh crores, and the state per capita income, which is of course not bad if you compare it with the other states, is at 1,33,000 a year. And the state debt is somewhere close to 82,125 crore, which in itself is also quite promising if you look at states like Punjab and Maharashtra for that matter. Total seats so far, the halfway mark is 46. The Indian National Congress was, of course, in complete and absolute majority in 2018. The BJP disappointed with 15, the JCCJ at 5, the BSP with 2, and of course some of the other local parties were not able to in fact open their accounts as well. So this is the halfway mark, and that's exactly what the Congress party is going to be hoping for. But there have been troubles of late for the Congress party, especially when it comes to those gambling apps. The Congress party has of course said that it is a propaganda by the BJP against the Congress party, but total votes in 2018 was 43% for the Indian National Congress, and the BJP got 33%. The JCCJ, another prominent party which has of course died to almost extinction over the last few years, is also going to be hoping to renew its fortunes somehow as well. The BSP, of course, has taken its chances, and if you compare it with what happened in 2013, you can clearly see that the Congress party from 39, which is below the halfway mark, jumped to 68, and the Bharatiya Janata Party, which was across the halfway mark with 49 in 2013, came down to just 15 in 2018. So the Prime Minister, and of course his approach and his aura, will it convert these votes for the BJP in Chhattisgarh is the big question that is going to be up tomorrow. If you look at the total seats in North Chhattisgarh, the Indian National Congress is of course the clear winner over here with 11 seats, with the rest of the parties, as you can see, drawing a blank, including the BJP, the JCCJ, the BSP and others. This is hardly a picture that the BJP has seen in the last few years, but Chhattisgarh has shown otherwise. Central Chhattisgarh, with the maximum number of seats at 67. The Indian National Congress is of course focused on that with 46. Remember, that's the halfway mark. The BJP with 14. They've got one more seat in another part of Chhattisgarh, and the JCCJ with 5, the BSP with 2, and the remaining parties drawing a blank once again. And this is of course 2018, the region-wise data that we're putting up for you on our screens. Total seats in South Chhattisgarh, that's where exactly the BJP got that other seat, which makes it 15 in total. And for the Indian National Congress, once again, 12 out of 11 seats for the Congress party. So, well, we've seen who the clear winner was last time around. I'm going to rope in Mr. Alok Mehta, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, to weigh in on what is at stake here. Mr. Mehta, it's been an interesting contest if you compare it to what happened in 2013 and what happened to 2018. But, all right, Alok Mehta is not with us. I'm going to go across to Mr. Himanshu Bhatt, political analyst, who's also joining us on the show. Mr. Bhatt, how do you weigh in on, what's at stake here for the Bharatiya Janata Party? Of course, this can also be considered as some sort of a preview for them for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Chhattisgarh has, behaved in such a way that it always, turns up a new government every 5 years. Is that going to be the case in 2023 as well?
Well, you can't say it's going to be that way, but what you just said, a preview to 2024, I don't think so. It's a too small a region, to get the entire national. That's aside. Tomorrow we are talking of the first phase of polling. And what I foresee is a much closer contest. Last time around, it was 43% and 33%. 10% vote gap was there. This time I expect a very, very close contest, And in this, a party like AAP, if it has got a local presence in certain constituencies, could make a big difference. What I foresee is the real effects of this gambling app expose and all that, to take place tomorrow and in the second phase. But the question remains here, overall turnout of Chhattisgarh last time was about 75%. What I foresee is still in some of the interior districts of central Chhattisgarh, there is absolutely no way people can go and vote. I'm telling you from some reports which I've got. People are finding it very difficult to go to the polling booth. Now, if that becomes a reality, or if that is a reality, then what is going to happen is the fight is going to be very, very close. I expect something like, 39-40 this time, rather than, 43-33 vote percentage. See, anti-incumbency is not there. But at the same time, such an exposure 3-4 days before the polling can have a lot of effect wherever the media reaches. But what about those places in the rural areas of Chhattisgarh where absolutely people know nothing about that? There are quite a few areas. There are about 6 to 8 seats, 10 seats, which will be going to polls tomorrow, where there is all probability that people don't even know what has happened. So what I'm trying to say you is, Chhattisgarh is a peculiar case, and it has a habit of changing governments. Raman Singh ruled for 15 years. After that, it has changed 2 times. Raman Singh lost and Baghel came. Now Baghel might come again. Well, people do not know that, but the fight of perception which is taking place at present, on one side they are saying it's, trying to put us into fix, these people are doing it. On the other side, Prime Minister himself comes to Chhattisgarh and does it because he has put his face on the prestige. See, when Prime Minister is made a face in this state, it becomes his duty to see to that his party emerges a winner ultimately. It's more than, preview of 2024. It's, more on a prestige of BJP, which will be at stake in this polls. This is what is my feeling. Whether they win or not, it's a different issue.
Right.
But
Let me also open Nikhil. Let's see. Right, Nikhil. Naxalism has been a problem. Development has also been a problem in Chhattisgarh. Employment has also been flagged as a major concern in Chhattisgarh. Do you think that perhaps is an area that the Congress regime has worked upon in the last 5 years? And does the BJP have any kind of a counterclaim to make?
See, most certainly, Chhattisgarh has been a backward state in terms of its economic positioning for as long as the state has existed. It has suffered from the Naxal problem. But the fact is, in the past 5 years, the Bhupel government has really worked on the welfareism, and that has led to further economic development. The Congress is promising 200 units of free electricity in Chhattisgarh, which until a few years ago was unimaginable even in a city like Delhi. And now the Chhattisgarh government, when the Chhattisgarh Congress is promising that, that is a huge leap in terms of where the state today is headed. And I would also like to counter Himanshu on one point that he had made earlier, that this is a state that likes to change chief ministers. That's not the case. 2003 to 2018, 3 flat terms, Raman Singh was the chief minister, and Bhupesh Baghel has held the term for the first time. And this is also something that I could possibly see as a pattern with the people of Chhattisgarh, that unlike Rajasthan, the people of Chhattisgarh probably don't want to change their government every term. Of course, if the government has not at all performed, any voter should change the government, but that is not the case with the Chhattisgarh Congress. So I feel there's a very high chance that the government will be retained and Bhupesh Baghel would continue to be the chief minister, or maybe somebody else might take his place. But of course, there's also one thing that we need to see is that just like in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, even in Chhattisgarh, the BJP has absolutely refused to put out a face to the people. There is no chief ministerial face. Raman Singh is no longer the face. Who is the face? Nobody knows. Exactly like in the other states. And I think the voter of today, the voter in the past 7-8 years has realized that there is a difference between the Lok Sabha elections and the state elections. I don't think, even if I for a moment assume that Narendra Modi's popularity in the state is undiminished despite the past 5 years of misrule. Even if I am to assume that, I think the voters now realize that Narendra Modi coming down or him acting as the face in Chhattisgarh for the BJP has nothing to do with these elections. The voter might vote for Narendra Modi in 2024, but the same voter would not be willing to vote for the BJP just because the BJP puts up Narendra Modi's photos on his hoardings, on their hoardings. And I think this is the important point, that Congress has promised good governance to the people. They've delivered in the past 5 years. They are focusing on welfareism. They're promising free units. They're coming up with welfare schemes. And that is what I think the people of Chhattisgarh are looking forward to, instead of just blanket allegations by the BJP in terms of corruption and this and that. Lastly, on the point of the Mahadev app scam, I think this is something that all voters now realize, that Enforcement Directorate and other central agencies are now very, very rampantly and brazenly being misused to intimidate the opposition. This particular app has been operational since 2017. It's an information technology platform. It was operational throughout the it has been operational since the past 4-5 years of the Baghel government, and the Baghel government did indeed file multiple FIRs in the case. They arrested so many people, and now if the ED just comes around and shows some videos of conmen who are saying that we have paid money to the chief minister, I think the people also realize that all of this can be just an election boogie that has been created by either the BJP or forces aligned with the BJP. So I don't think the Mahadev app scam is going to, alleged scam is going to, really impact how the voter of Chhattisgarh looks at this election.
Okay,
I think the choice-
Huda Zariwala, political analyst, also joins us on the show. Huda, well, the Aam Aadmi Party is also jumping in this fray. There are not many who expect Aam Aadmi Party to, in fact, to put any kind of a dent. What are your aspirations and for whom in this election in Chhattisgarh?
Well, good evening. Arvind Kejriwal ji has promised the implementation of PISA for tribals, if AAP is voted to power. Now, PISA is very important for a state like Chhattisgarh. It is essentially something that empowers the Gram Sabhas to manage the affairs as per the local traditions and customs. If PISA, which is the Panchayat extension to scheduled areas, is extended in tribal-dominated areas of Chhattisgarh, these people will be empowered. They will have the power to manage the affairs as per the local customs and traditions. These sabhas can actually go on to improve the plans, programs, and projects for social and economical development of the state and have the right to mandatory consultation in land acquisition, resettlement, and rehabilitation of essentially the displaced persons. That is something that the AAP government promises to offer to the people, to the voters of Chhattisgarh. That being said, the 300 units of electricity, something that has been promised to the voters of Chhattisgarh by not just AAP, but even Congress promises electricity. Now, that is something which even till date is an issue. The Congress party may or may not have been successful in actually providing electricity to the entire population of Chhattisgarh. But we know for a fact that Delhi government model, which is extended to now Punjab, boast of providing the 200 or the 300, units of electricity to Delhi or Punjab areas. This is something the AAP government is capable of doing, has done it in Delhi, has done it in Punjab, and is certainly in a position to do it in Chhattisgarh. Now, we know this is the first time for Aam Aadmi Party. Realistically speaking, the party does not, it is not boasting of actually winning an election, or it is not even thinking on those lines. Maybe at this point, the party is trying to make inroads in Chhattisgarh. Aam Aadmi Party is a party that people associate with. We speak of the Delhi government model, which essentially, provides the mohalla clinics, the electricity, the education model, and all of that. Education is something that the Aam Aadmi Party is going to certainly work on in Chhattisgarh, because we have all seen the government schools in Delhi and how they have actually changed the landscape of education system in Delhi itself. That being said, Aam Aadmi Party is going to obviously try and woo the voters with these promises.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.